Tonight, on 5 Minutes. These students are walking to class if it were any ordinary day. Little do they know that at any moment an earthquake could strike. Earthquakes are among the most violent and unpredictable forces of nature. In an instant, a regular morning commute can turn into total chaos. But earthquakes don't just cause panic. They can also cost billions of dollars in damage, and according to the United States Geological Survey, over 800,000 lives were taken between 2000 and 2012 due to earthquakes alone. So how can we stop this madness? We turn to University of Kentucky's own Dr. Jesse Hoagg for answers.
When I was at Duke, I worked with a professor there. His name is Dr. Henry Gavin, and we worked on vibration problems. How do you get a structure to behave better during an earthquake? How do you get a building to behave more, sort of in a nicer manner? And one of the techniques that he spent a lot of time on was these what are called Magneto Rheological dampers. So you've probably seen the Acura commercial where they have like this magnet and this gooey stuff comes up towards the magnet. Well, that's Magneto Rheological material, and basically what it does is it behaves differently when you create a magnetic field for it to be in. What he was using them for is putting them in basically like damping devices, and based on the magnetic field you created, you could adjust the damping.
Magneto Rheological fluid dampers, or MR dampers for short, are devices designed to dissipate kinetic energy and counteract the shock of its surroundings. By changing the viscosity of the MR fluid inside of the damper, it has the ability to change its resistance to external forces by either stiffening or softening. An enormous magnet, which is controlled by a self-operating computer, produces the magnetic fields that manipulate the viscosity of the MR fluid. This computer has the ability to detect the conditions of a building's environment. For example, the magnitude of seismic waves during an earthquake, or the velocity of winds during a tornado. The computer then changes the intensity of the magnetic field accordingly to reduce building motion. MR fluid is composed of magnetic particles suspended in a carrier fluid such as oil. When a magnetic field is applied, the magnetic particles will align and form chains within the fluid. By varying the intensity of the magnetic field, the resistivity of the MR damper to external forces can be controlled with extreme accuracy. MR fluid has been around since the 1940s, but has been practically unusable until the 1990s. This is because we had no precise form of control on the magnetic field applied to it until computer technology advanced. A spark of interest in the MR fluid occurred once engineers realized that new and developing technologies would enable them to control it effectively, and it soon became the most popular form of structural damping. The use of MR fluid is not limited to structural engineering. The application set of this technology is very broad, and it expands with continuing research and development. Used in the suspension system of vehicles, the MR fluid can reduce the vibrations of the car, giving the passengers a smooth ride. When used in prosthetic limbs, the fluid can simulate the natural shock absorbers in the joints of the human body and prevent injury caused by jumping, running, or jogging. The U.S. military has been researching ways to make body armor more effective with the use of MR fluid. Upon the impact of a bullet, the fluid inside hardens and allows the force to be absorbed over a larger area, making it less likely to penetrate the armor. Also, the installation of MR dampers in the cockpit seats of military helicopters can reduce the shock delivered to the pilot's spinal column in the event of a crash, preventing injury or death. So when you're walking to work or class in the morning, you can breathe easy knowing that new technologies such as Magneto Rheological fluid dampers are helping to make our world a safer place.